Hello and welcome to my tiny tarot practice. I'm Amelia Hruby, and on this show, I share my journey through the tarot, moving card by card, first through each suit of the minor arcana, and now, in this fifth and final season, through the major arcana. This season of the show is sponsored by Tarot for Creative Spirits by Cecily Saylor, and today's card is the Devil. In the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the tarot, the Devil card features a devil figure at the center of the card. They are red or orange. They have horns, a long beard, wings on their back, and they are crouched on top of a pillar, and you can see their legs are hairy and end in talons as feet. They have one hand bent up toward the sky, and the other is holding a fiery torch pointed toward the ground. And beneath them, there are two people, which do appear to be a man and a woman. They're both nude. They have red hair and horns of their own, and they each have a tail. The figure on the left, which appears to be the woman, has a tail made of fruit or what look to be grapes. The figure on the right has a tail that is on fire. It is actually lit by the torch that the devil is holding. And both of these figures have chains around their neck that chain them to the pillar that the devil is perched upon. This card in the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the tarot is evocative of a few other cards in the major arcana. I think particularly it's evocative of the Lovers card. And often the devil is called the teacher card of the Lovers because the devil is number 15 and 1 + 5 is 6, which is the number of the Lovers card. And in both cards, we do see these two human figures and a superhuman figure perhaps above them. In this one, the devil, and the Lovers, an angel. We can also see that this card evokes the magician in that the devil in the card has the same stance with their arms, one toward the sky, one toward the ground. And when I think about the devil, I think that there is something subversive in this card. Many people read it as a card about power and pleasure and the subversion of power through pleasure. I think that the devil here invites us into temptation. But I don't like to think of it as the sort of negative view of temptation that we might find in contemporary Christianity. Rather, I like to think of it as the liberatory nature of our pleasure, particularly in an oppressive society like the one that we live in under white supremacist capitalist patriarchy. I love what Maria Menace writes in Tarot for the Hard Work, where she says, "Embodying the devil means to release the self from addictive devils, the self-imposed chains we keep wearing out of comfort, convenience, and vice. The devil appears when we are truly ready to confront the demons and the things that tell us we're not enough. When we remove our shackles, we realize that we're still alive. We never needed past fixations to feel alive. Our spark isn't out there in relationships and a career at the bottom of a bottle. It's been within us all along." I think this description can be similar to how some people understand the shadow. And I love that Cecily Saylor in Tarot for Creative Spirits cites Carolyn Elliott's work in Existential Kink here, because I think that there is this sense of shadow work through which we encounter the beliefs within ourselves that are both our chains and our liberation. And I think that the devil takes us to those places. It takes us to the moments, the experiences, the self-conceptions, the inner critic, the voices, the beliefs. It takes us into our deepest desires. And rather than denying us them, which I think is what happens so often in contemporary society and contemporary religion, rather than denying us those desires, the devil says, what if we embraced them? What if we embodied them? What if we were radically honest about that spark, as Maria Menace put it? What if we really let ourselves touch that erotic power? And here, of course, I think of Audre Lorde and her essay, Uses of the Erotic as Power. I think the devil is perhaps the most erotic card in the tarot. And what Lorde reminds us is that erotic does not mean pornographic. It doesn't mean sexual. What it means is desire. And desire fuels our lives. It is the drive, the life force that keeps us going day to day, but it's so often muted by what we are told is possible, what we are told we should want. And the devil is here to say that the only thing we should chain ourselves to is our true, deep desires. Not to other people's sense of them, not to society's presentation of them, but to ourselves. What do we really want? When we strip ourselves bare, taking off the shackles of capitalism, off the shackles of patriarchy, off the shackles of white supremacy, what do we really want? And can we shackle ourselves to that? Of course, we have to live in society. We have to move through these oppressive structures. I'm not saying that we can just take them off and all is well. But part of our sacred work is to find the space within ourselves to identify our desires separate from these systems and structures. And that often means confronting our fear. And so I also love how Cecily Saylor in Tarot for Creative Spirits guides us through a fear inventory and an honest but playful approach to confronting our fears, to surfacing them, to naming them, and eventually to crossing them out and erasing them. Because in that act of releasing the fear, we can begin to discover the desire. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of my Tiny Tarot practice. If you enjoyed these reflections on the devil, I think you would really love the practices in Tarot for Creative Spirits, which is the book I've been referencing by Cecily Saylor, who is also the presenting sponsor of this season of the show. If you'd like to get your copy today, please head to the show notes where you'll find an exclusive discount code for this amazing workbook. And until next time, I'll meet you at the seat of our desires.